All right, I'm excited for today. So we got Dustin Glueckert, sales partner 2021. Good job, man.
Thank you.
So we got Dustin here a day early. We are starting the President's Club, and this was the sales partner 2021.
Wow.
So we wanted to sit down. We wanted to talk with Dustin and just kind of pick his brain.
Right.
You know, I think half of our phone calls could be a whole podcast episode.
Definitely.
And we don't record all of that stuff. So today I want to just kind of talk with you, and just like we do on a daily basis anyways.
Yeah.
Starting with this year, you grew so much. In this video, if you want to share where your residuals are at, but you grew by more than $10,000 in residual income, and we don't even know what December's check is. So in 11 months, you're well north of $10,000. So where were you at a year ago, and where are you at now, and what kind of happened in between? What made it click, man? Because you were around last year as well, but you didn't really do much. So what happened this year, man?
Yeah, so it was great. We actually were talking about this earlier today. For some people that may not know, I mean, I was going through some months where I wasn't producing. I wasn't signing any deals. And Joe actually had this trip last year to Zion that I went with him on, and we really gave it our all. We went on this huge hike, and I'm like, there's so much more I can do, and I really want to be a part of this lifestyle. So I went back to Montana, and I just got really honest with myself, and I said, I'm done with excuses. These excuses are ridiculous, and like we were just talking today, and I'm willing to drive in 4 inches to a foot of snow and go out there and sign merchants in the middle of winter, and that's what it took. And I just stopped all the excuses and just went to work. I think a lot of people what's holding them back is they're like, well, how do I do that? No, just go out there and go to work.
Yeah.
And that's really what it came down to.
Yeah, and that's always what it comes down to.
Yeah.
People are just believing their own mind and things that come up on why they need to quit early or not go to work and stuff. So do you remember what kind of things were going through your head? Because it's probably the same for most people that end up watching this or whoever watches this. One thing I've learned is most of our minds, we're going through the same stuff. It's just some people control it, acknowledge it, and change it, and some people actually believe it. So what were the obstacles that your mind was giving you that you were believing a year ago before we even get into this year?
I mean, I even hate to say it, like right now at this stage in the game for me, but like I was like, well, are people gonna really want what I have? Though that was like one of the things, and what I found out was yes, absolutely, because I'm believing in it and I'm seeing the results from it. So that was probably one of the things, and then the other thing was actually just starting your day off right, waking up, working out, like just these little things that I wasn't doing that really put you in the right mindset. And the mindset was huge. The right mindset to go out there and work your full 8. We talk about that a lot, working your full 8. And it's not working 6, it's not working 5 hours. Work your full 8. And once I committed to that, it just goes back to the whole work ethic thing, but it really took off for me.
Yeah, and you still deal with the same challenges and everything.
Yeah.
We talked to
just different angles.
But within 5 days ago, you called me. I think it was 1:00, and you're just like, man, no one wants to talk to me today. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I said, something along the lines of, don't even stress it, man. It's 1:00.
It's 1:00. And
keep going. You already know how this goes.
Yeah.
And I think you wrote 2 that day.
2 that day.
Yeah. So those obstacles, people, that's totally normal. You probably deal with that every single day that you haven't wrote a deal by 1 or 2 o'clock. Do you agree with that? That if you're in the middle of a day, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you haven't wrote a deal yet, your brain's trying to pull you out, right? You're like, what? Talk about that, because that's so common.
It's trying to pull you out, and for people that are out on the road or however you're doing this, there's a 1,000 ways to skin a cat. But for however you're doing this, and you get into that later part of your day, and you don't have a deal, you just have to. It just really goes back to having that blind faith every day that I'm gonna get a deal, no matter what it takes, short of death, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Someone needs my help.
Someone needs my help.
I haven't found them yet, and I'm not going to find them by stopping.
No.
You agree?
That's the last thing that you're going to that's gonna get you a deal is stopping. So
Yeah.
just keep pushing through and showing up. That's huge. Consistency. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things in this business is really staying consistent and having those numbers every month.
Yep.
And I'm really just excited that I've been able to do that.
Yeah. So I know you've had some big obstacles this year.
Yeah.
So let's not worry about the year that you didn't do anything. This year, your sales partner of the year, blew up your residuals. We're going to talk about how life has changed in one short year here by the end of this by the end of the interview. But talk about some of what were some of the biggest obstacles that seemed really legitimate? Like today, I legitimately shouldn't go to work because type situation. It could be a car broke down. It could be weather. It could be something health. I don't know. You just off the top of your head. Just so everyone knows, he has no idea what I'm going to ask. This whole thing is unscripted, and that's the whole point of these. We want you guys to see that what you're going through is normal. So give us some of your one or two top instances that happened where you could have easily justified not getting out there and you did, and now obviously glad you did.
So there was actually a really turning point, and I did not know you were going to ask me this, so I'm glad I'm able to bring this up. So I'm just going to tell the exact experience.
That's why we're here.
I'm driving to. This is end of January. I'm driving, and I'm struggling that month. I'm driving to Phillipsburg, Montana, in the middle of nowhere, and it snowed, probably over 2 feet of snow, and I'm plowing snow with my car.
And what are you driving?
I'm driving a little hatchback Hyundai. So
it's not a made for 2 feet of snow car.
No, not at all.
All right, so it's 2 feet of snow. You're in a little hatchback.
I have like 30 miles to go, and I'm like, okay, well, no snowplows have come out here. I totally should turn around. Everything says go home, and I didn't. I'm like, there is a deal out there. There's someone I need to help, and I actually showed up to this beautiful town, Phillipsburg, Montana. Recommend going there, but I show up there and there are 3 businesses open, and we signed every one of them. All three. Every owner was there. Every owner needed help, and we signed all 3. And it was a really great day. And I even got my car stuck, and they came out and helped me get my car out. Yeah. So it worked out. That was a huge obstacle, and I've had other obstacles, with this vehicle along the way, and but that was probably one of the biggest obstacles I had being in Montana was weather and being able to push through that, because a lot of my growth was actually in the middle of winter. It was another one.
It's on those days that you could easily stop.
I could easily stop. The other one, the largest account that I signed, it was negative 25 below out. And I drove out to this hot springs, and it's been the biggest account that we have to date.
How much do they process?
They processed $225,000 last month.
Yeah.
So.
And you could have. How cold was it?
It was negative 25.
Negative 25. And negative 25. You're talking 2 feet of snow, all sorts of stuff. But these are things that will stop a lot of people. You could easily say, I'm not going outside. It's negative 20 degrees. There's 2 feet of snow.
What I found out is there was people that needed me.
Yeah.
And that was the day they actually needed me. So.
So looking back on that, not to cut you short, but now looking back at that, go put yourself back to that state of mind where you were, where it's so easy. You wanted to turn around. You had every reason to turn around. It probably is legitimate to turn around. Now you're talking. So this was January. So now you got 11 months that you've been getting paid for that one decision. Think about that, or talk about that. How does that come across to you? Like a simple decision, instead of turning around going forward, you've been getting paid 11 months for that decision.
Yeah.
And somebody else won because of that decision, because you're able to help them. Right. And that money's going to keep coming for many, many years. All of his accounts love him. They're very, very happy. They're going to stick around for years. So that one decision financially is going to reward you for a very long time. Talk about that.
It's been life-changing for, me and my family. Like, every month I know my bills are covered. I know that I'm growing financially. And I mean, we're in this business to grow financially, and it's been awesome. And you know, we were able to this summer go around and do testimonials with people, and that really solidified the fact why I'm doing that. That really was the why I'm doing it. It's just to help people, and being able to actually get that on camera and have them openly talk about what it's done for them too. Not only has it changed my life financially, which is awesome, but it's changed theirs too.
Right.
So it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really rewarding, and I want to really stress on that, like that one decision in a day that you can easily turn back.
Yeah.
And that stuff adds up, right? Like, you didn't grow as much as you grew. This is one example. He probably has this example almost every day. There's a reason why your brain will want to stop you and turn around. And it's normal. I want people, this is what I want, this is the point I'm trying to make, is that stuff is normal, right? But the top producers understand that this decision I'm going to make to either turn around or go forward is going to impact me for a very, very long time financially, and it's going to impact somebody else as well. So it's these little decisions. So, you know, when you compare the year that you weren't doing much to now, would you say that's the difference maker? When those excuses come up, you just learn to beat your mind, or is that fair to say, or what's the difference?
It's all about the mindset and really being able to filter the excuses, to filter the roadblocks, and when you do have them, and the gratification when you overcome one of those roadblocks, like the fulfillment I get, like I don't whatever it is, you know, I've had rejection. Let's go to a really simple one. You've had rejection all day, and I hit that last door, and it's a great account.
Yeah.
And I drive home and I'm happy, you know, and I did everything that I could. I left it all on the table. It was the fourth quarter. I like to put everything into like sports perspectives. It was the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We were on the one and we scored.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Those are the best days, right?
Yeah.
You had a hard day.
Yeah.
Literally the last door.
Yeah.
And you can maintain that attitude. Keep the blind faith. And, you know, let's talk about this, which is sticking to the fundamentals, right?
Yes.
From the first door to the last door, you know, what are you walking into that last door? What's the mentality? What do you got to say about the basics? Are you changing it?
No,
like
I'm using the 5 steps to conversation.
Yep.
You know, the 4 factors of impulse, and I'm doing that every door. It doesn't change. I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I do the same thing every time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little variations, but it's the same structure.
The variations are based on what they say.
Right.
Right? If they literally sat there and didn't say anything from the beginning to end, it'd be the same pitch.
It would be the same.
Because you know what works. Right? It's what they do, what they say. It's their body language. It's their excuses and objections that change what you do. But the bones is always the same. Because once you crack the code, once you know what works for you, it works. And you just keep doing it.
It works.
Absolutely, man. So you know, describe your financial situation, how that's changed in the last year. Just going back 1 year ago to right now, just the financial situation and what impact has that made in your life and within your family and all of that.
That one's been great. That's been a total blessing. So I'm trying to think on how to actually answer this. So a lot of people may go out there and be comfortable with that hourly paycheck, you know, 40 hours a week. But I didn't want that in my life, and I'm really glad I made the decision to go after residual income, because not only do I make more than the average person, it grows every month, and it's totally changed my life. I mean,
how so? What's life like with residual income and, you know, having enough to not only cover your bills, but eat what you want to eat. Take your wife to the restaurant.
Right.
Go take the trip. Like,
there's
get
a lot
into
of
that.
there's a lot of families that are struggling and stressed, And I know that I'm not, and that just takes, there's just a whole weight lifted off your chest, knowing that, great, every bill I have, every financial issue I have is covered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't a year ago. It was not a year ago.
What was it a year ago?
What was it?
Stressful? Was your
stressful.
Was it stressful? You needed to make money? I need to make a sell? Or
I needed...
you need money.
I need to get ahead.
I need to make money.
I need to make money.
Yeah.
And, you know, that wears on your personal relationships with your family, with your wife, your kids. And we just don't have that stress anymore. And, you know, that's probably the biggest thing for me. Mm-hmm. And just to know that you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, and it actually, what it did for me is it made me more hungry. It made me want to go out there and win more.
Yeah.
It wanted me to experience more of abundance and
momentum, baby.
Yeah, momentum, exactly. So it's been life changing, and you know, when I hit that milestone for me was, you know, this was a while back, so you can only guess what I'm at now, but it was $10,000, and it was great to hit that milestone because that was my goal for 2021.
Yeah. And
I blew through that.
Yeah. You did that. I came up to Montana. We went out and played. You got your Got Residual shirt, $10,000 residual. Get your Got Residual shirt.
August.
Life changing.
Yeah, it was August. So. And
I also want to note that this was all through COVID. This has all been through COVID.
Yeah,
right. Not to go back to you know beating excuses and all of that stuff. So you got all the excuses that come along with COVID that you plowed through. We won't go back to excuses, but that's a big one that he blocked out and went forward. But
I don't even want to talk about it.
You know what? While the rest of the world is stressing for money and losing their jobs or their business shut down and stuff like that, what has your business been like through COVID? Not even counting just the new sales, but that cash flow, the financial freedom.
The financial freedom. So just to talk a little bit, I'm from Montana. I love hunting. I love hiking.
Oh, yeah.
So I spent, honestly, once I got to my goal, I allowed myself to actually really take in the win from this year, and I allowed myself 6 weeks. It was 4. Allowed myself 4 weeks to go hunting whenever I wanted to. And I went with my brother, who he had a lot of time. He works for the government. But he had a lot of time, and he spent all of his time with me hunting this year. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that's the most we've hiked and hunted in the last 10 years in 1 month. Mm-hmm. And we hiked, hundreds of miles, and it was probably the best time I've ever had with him. And, we're 36 years old. I felt like we were kids again out there walking around with, looking for elk.
You told me it was the best hunting season you've ever had, because every hunting season, even while you're out there hunting, right? When you have to stress about money, even when you're out hunting, you're trying to enjoy the moment, but tomorrow morning I gotta wake up and I gotta go make money.
Right.
And this season, that wasn't the case.
No.
You told me this was the first year, like, you enjoyed every day that you went hunting, knowing that it's financially, life's covered.
Right, and to know that there's actually money coming in while you're out there walking. I don't know of anyone else that's doing that, so...
I try not to bash people that don't have residual, and I don't mean this as a bash, but once you have residual income, you kind of look at what's going on around the world, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so for people that know about this industry, that know about the vehicle, that are in the vehicle, that have the same access to change your life, like I did, like Dustin does, like thousands of people do, you have access to something that can change your life. And what do you say to that? Because people say they get it, right? Everyone says they want residual income. They say they understand residual income and the concept of it, but how do you describe, I don't know if you can answer this, but let's try. How do you describe, like, when you knew about residual income to actually living it and having it? There's a massive difference.
You can look at any spreadsheet, paper, on how it would probably impact your life financially, but actually being able to feel
The stress.
come off, and to know that it's off, to really know that it's off, because you're looking at your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it other than I feel light.
Own your life, baby.
Own your life.
This is why I talk about own your life, and you brought it up at the beginning. We took a trip to Zion.
Yeah.
You know, every year there's a couple of people that haven't quite cracked the code or aren't going all in quite yet. But I try to identify a couple of people. I'm like, I know if they got it, if they grasped it, like mentally, if they just said, F it, I'm all in, this has to happen. And I'll invest in those kind of people, and that's why we went to Zion. He wasn't a top producer, but I knew you had that.
Yeah.
So we went on that trip, and you know, so people see the Own Your Life videos and stuff, but that was it sounded like that was a big part for you, and part of the thing that made the switch is it wasn't the money. I didn't bring you out and throw money around and stuff. We went out and experienced the lifestyle that comes with it and the lack of stressing about money and just living.
It was so great because Joe really enjoys things I enjoy, and we got to take this hike and really push it. Like, really push it.
How far was that hike?
It was 20 plus miles, you know?
In a blizzard.
And we got to a certain point, and I looked at Joe. I mean, I do pretty experienced. I looked at Joe, and I said, it's time to go home. It's time to hike back. And we're going forward, buddy. So that was a game changer for me, and you know, really owning your life and seeing someone that set the example of owning their life. I needed that. Honestly needed that, and I was so fortunate to go on that trip. I immediately got home. I burnt all the bridges. No bridges. Only bridge was on the way to residual income, and on that path, and short of death, that's what I was doing. Yeah. And for me, I hit my goal and I surpassed it.
And this is so important because the vehicle didn't change, the cash discount program didn't change, the terminals didn't change, the merchants didn't change, the environment didn't change. You changed up here. Your commitment to it it goes beyond commitment. Mm-hmm. Right, because I remember, and it happens with everybody, the ones that go that big, especially in 1 year, they become obsessed with, I have to get this result.
Yeah, and you know, my sphere became smaller, but you know, I had people out there cheering me on. Like, my wife was a huge motivator for me. You know, I came home, I was able to come home to just a super supportive environment every day. Yeah, that was huge. You know?
So talk about that. Let's talk about, you know, circle of influence.
Yeah. And,
you know, as you get into that laser, that tunnel vision, that this is what you're gonna do.
I mean,
you know, you kind of said it. Your sphere got smaller. So talk about that. Who was in the sphere and who wasn't, and what changed?
You know, I had a lot of outside forces kind of pulling me in different directions, and you may not realize this. Or I mean, it may be there or it may not, but you need to recognize it. And I think a problem that I was having was I wasn't recognizing it. And then
recognizing the things that were pulling, just distracting you?
Distracting you from your ultimate goal, which is to build this business, build residual income.
Right.
And so it actually, without even me really trying, my sphere became a lot smaller. And I only want to surround myself. And I'm not saying go out there and don't be friends with people or anything like that, but my sphere of people that I was actually listening to, that was actually influencing me, became smaller. And I only want to be around people that are on the same wavelength that I'm at.
And are willing to feed it,
willing to grow their business and, you know, excited. Yeah, that's huge.
So what do you say to people, right? We're right at the end of December. You just had this huge year. You just described this, you know, transition you went through between the end of last year into, you know, getting all this momentum. What do you say to people that, like, they know what you're saying, they're probably in the same position, they've been distracted, they didn't fully commit, or they're believing their own excuses? What do you tell them?
Nothing's gonna change. Nothing will change January 1st. Just so you know. The best time to do it was yesterday, but today. So go out there and finish this year strong. get Joe's talked about it. Get momentum into 2022, and be laser focused. And why not start right now? Like why? I mean, I'm already. 2022 is already going on for me.
I know we've been talking about it ever since December 1st when everyone's thinking about the holidays and stuff. He just got down here to Florida late last night, but he hit his December numbers and it's the 16th.
Right.
December 1st didn't come, and we're talking about January 1st. We got half of a month to get the same amount of production done, and you did.
And I want to touch on that. Like Joe, we obviously we've planned this trip for a little bit, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I got to get to my numbers before I come.
Yep.
And I did. You
don't want to show up here with no momentum.
No momentum.
Who cares what you did the first 10 months of the year?
That's really.
How are you going to finish it before you come here?
Exactly.
That's your mentality.
That's my mentality, and what it did to me is prove that I can do more.
Yeah.
It only proved that I can do more in a month.
So what do you say about holidays, or what month it is, or the weather? I mean,
it doesn't matter. There's someone out there that needs you. Tomorrow, today, in a month from now, they're in the sales cycle of needing you.
Yeah.
You just have to find them. And I think, sitting at home thinking about you're never gonna find them.
Yeah.
You have to get out there and get in their business. Find out.
That's it. That's the trick.
So
normally I would end one of these and ask for your advice, but he just gave it. He just told you exactly what it is. Doesn't matter what month it is. Doesn't matter what the holiday is. It really is in your head. Once you make that decision, you surround yourself with the right people. You don't take advice from people that aren't fueling the obsession and the fire to build this business. And your life can change significantly in 12 months, okay? He's far north of $10,000 in residual income, and he did that in 11 months. I mean, you broke 10 grand, I think, in 7 or 8 months, because we did an interview.
Yeah.
And then he's been producing for 4 months since then, so just keeps going up. So, folks, there's a little insight into the mind of Dustin Glueckert, sales partner, man.
Yeah.
Great friend.
Yeah.
Now we get 3 days. We're going to be fishing, having a good time. We're going up to Peanut Island. We're going to have an awesome time. He's got his family down here. We've got other people from Easy Pay coming. So, folks, if you're looking for a great culture, we're about lifestyle. We want people to live a great life. Yes, that comes from money, but it's not about money. It's about owning your life. It's being a contributor. It's being healthy. It's more time with your family if you have one. If you have a family, more time with your friends. It's if you like hiking and going on trips, it's having the time to do that. The hunting trip that he just gave. You have something in your life that you would rather be doing than trading time for money. And if you just commit to this and you can change your life, then it allows you to go and focus on those things. And that's what it's about. And it does come from money, but it's about owning your life at the end of the day. So if you're not already, make sure you check us out. We'd love to work with you. We can show you how to increase your sales. Check the links below. And if you don't have a home for your cash discount deals, or you want to hear more about Cash Discount 2.0, easydirectsales.com. So it's the letters easydirectsales.com. It's all about that lifestyle, own your life. Dustin, when we say see you at the top, we work our ass off all year. For these 3 days we're about to go party and play. This is the top, man. Congratulations.
Yep.
See you later.